What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing good. Today we're going to take a little break from the typical B1 content that we've been doing, and I actually have the SSR that I built for a buddy in the garage today, and we're going to be doing a controller swap on it. So I kind of wanted to just show it off to you guys. I didn't do a lot of content when I built it, so I'm not going to go into crazy detail, but show you some of the work that I put into it, what it looks like. We're just going to be throwing in another Fardriver, getting rid of the crappy QS138, I believe, and throwing in a 72450. Get rid of that lag in mode 1 and 2. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys and kind of take a little break from the B1 content. She is sitting here. I have hopefully the 420 setup coming on soon. Already got the 9-tooth 420 on the motor itself. This should only take me maybe 2 or 3 more weeks to do. Just kidding. I'll get to that as soon as possible. I still want to play around with the flip ski and figure out if I can make this thing a little bit faster, all that good stuff. I also kind of want to throw this back in here and, run the motor at like 10 kilowatts, see how it holds up. But yeah, guys, so check this thing out. So this is my girlfriend's SSR125. It is an automatic. And then let's look at this thing. Crazy. How did that go to that? So we have a street legal SSR. This is swapped with a QS138 90H. It's the V1 non-gear reduction. We got a 72 volt 40 amp hour. I believe it's 225 amp capable, a Morg battery. And you got the custom battery box made out of diamond plate aluminum. Now, I did not build this. I don't weld aluminum. What I did is I cut out some cardboard and made the shape, figured it out, and then we sent the cardboard box over to somebody who built this for us. But as you can see, it's fully sealed. It's got a plate right here, bolted down. That way, if you need to get to it, pop it out, all that good stuff. And we got the like a rubber grommet sealed up with some RTV, and we got the 29-inch TD Pro forks. It has a full light kit, so we got blinkers all the way around. We got high beam, low beam with these 2 light bars, custom bracket that I made. This thing's pretty sick. So I think these are the Z6 throttle controls. So we got reverse. We don't have speed. I did hook that up to boost, but it just worked funny, so I didn't end up using it. So we got 1, 2, 3 for our modes. We got the light switches here. We got high beam, low beam, hazards, left, right blinker, and then these are both horn. Then we got the left handbrake, of course. We got the CT22 display. So this thing shows, normal stuff. You got actual voltage, battery gauge, mile per hour. You got your odometer, clock, more mileage stuff. We have the SSR125 plastics in blue. Custom seat that he made. Unfortunately, he's getting rid of this. He's not a big fan of the bump. But we got the XT60 charge port in the gas cap right here, sealed nice and tight. Retain the stock foot brake and the stock foot peg bracket. So we go under here, bolts on just like a normal SSR would. So it's got, the kickstand and everything. So basically exactly how that would bolt to the bottom of the motor. This bolts to the bottom of my custom cradle that I built. So I took a couple thick sheets of steel and I cut these out, drilled the holes properly, and basically just welded this sucker to the spine of the frame. We got a little, a cover right here that bolts on forward. That way, if you want to take the motor out, you wouldn't be able to just pull it up, because we got the top mount here as well. So basically, once you take the battery off, it's got a skid plate underneath that ties both the bottom of this and the battery. Battery's got 4 tabs up top. custom tabs that I made as well to bolt to. But yeah, take the battery off, take the skid plate off, and then this front plate, you can see the line right there. This comes off forward, and then the motor can come out forward just like that. And then we got foot brake. So like I said, we got the handbrake up there, foot brake down here, and we got 2 brake calipers with a custom. Basically all I did was take 2 of these caliper brackets. I cut the bottom one off and I welded it to the bottom of this one. Ended up working out beautifully. We cut the mounts for the foot pegs off and welded on some studs so he could run these slider bars. Got slider bars everywhere, so if this thing goes down, it's good to go. Now this part, I didn't make the 12 bar right here. All I did was mount these brackets to here, and then I welded some nuts on the end of this bar. That way it could tie in, make it nice and strong. Foot pegs right here with sliders. It's got the titanium scrape bar right here. Just throw some sparks. This thing is registered, insured. Got a tail light, blinkers on both sides. So this thing is fully street legal. Got a 65 tooth sprocket, fully aluminum. I believe this is, actually I think Jeff made this. So the same guy who made my EMX Brandon sprocket, he made this for him. So you got the EMX 65 tooth, pretty sweet. Now since these sprockets are so big and the motor itself is not gear reduction, we had to get rid of the chain guide right here. And just for added precaution, we added a bolt-on chain tensioner. It works out beautifully. Got the kickstand. Look at this thing, man. Absolute unit. And it rips. So we only got this thing running like 15 kilowatts. I'm sure a lot of you know the QS13890H could run a freaking ton of amps. But you know, limited by the battery, limited by the controller, and this thing's a handful at 15 kilowatts anyways. It was built to be a stunt bike, as you can see. But yeah, street legal, so I mean, we're gonna go ahead and swap the controller out and hopefully go for a little ride. I'm gonna go ahead and take the plastics off. I did a full custom harness for it as well, so we'll check all that too. Plastics are off, and as you can see, we just got a whole plethora, a huge mess of wiring. Go to this side, show you a lot of this stuff is like bar controls, you know, switches, lights, 12 volt. We got 12 volt inverter back here. It's just a huge old mess of stuff. Not terrible, definitely not my best work. I'm not very good at cable management, let's put it that way. So we're going to go ahead and take this controller off. I need to rework the new harness, controller harness into the bike harness itself, and then we're going to go ahead and tune up the 72450, see what this thing can do. Controller is off. You can check out the mounts, or I guess the tabs that I welded down to mount the controller. And then here we go. We got the old SIAYQ 72180. This thing claimed to do 180 line and 660 phase. I'm not too sure about that. It's almost like the 72360. But then here we got the new 72450. Looks like the bolt holes are going to line up, which is great. Won't have to change my mounts. These things are heavy. It's hard to show you guys, but as you can see, we got a much lower profile. So hopefully this thing's going to fit a little bit better. But he's going to be stoked to have his mode 1 and 2 not have that weird lag to it. I don't know if you guys have ever played with the what's it called, the Eco. I'll have to look it up. I'll pop it up on the screen. But if you play with that, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. But it's like it does that in mode 1 and 2, but mode 3 it's perfectly normal, nice and snappy. But like I said, mode 1 and 2, it just for some reason it has that weird lag to it, and it's just not comfortable for doing wheelies. It's very unpredictable. So hopefully this 450 will solve the problem. Maybe one day I'll talk him into getting a vest controller, but those things are pretty expensive compared to the power you can get out of a Fardriver. All right, guys, so I don't make this video too long, I'm gonna go ahead. I need to open up this wire harness, hook it up to the new harness, slap this thing back together, and we'll go for a ride. All right, guys, since I'm here, I kind of wanted to clear up a question. Is I see this a lot in the groups is, and I'll probably get asked this too, is why don't you just use the harness that's already there and just plug it into the new controller? Well, this is a great example. So as you can see, the SAYQ right here, all you really need to look at is the oranges right there. So you got two oranges, two ignitions, one regular ignition, one ignition that goes to like a security, like a, you know, a wireless remote, that kind of thing. And then you got the newer ND72450. Now you can see these are in the same orientation. See the two top notches right here, how it would plug in, are on the complete opposite end right here. So clearly, a lot of these controllers are very different, and I can also say the same about the encoder models as well. Completely different. So hopefully this clear up some of your questions. If you're switching a Fardriver, you're probably going to have to switch the harness with it as well. Unfortunately, it is nighttime. Ran out of daylights, but I got the new controller in. Already got a quick bass tune on it, so tomorrow, excuse me, tomorrow I'm going to go ahead, tune it up, go ahead and ride it around and see how she feels with the new controller. Make sure my mode 1 and 2 looks like it's working pretty good. Looks like everything, it was easy. It was probably only like 3 or 4 plugs. The rest of the wire is all, you know, 12-volt accessories, stuff like that. So it's pretty much completely separate from the bike or the controller itself. Easy. But yeah, so unfortunately for me, this is where I have to stop. But for you guys, fortunately, just like magic, it's the next day. So I got everything together, got it tuned up pretty good. Probably still mess with it since I haven't actually stretched its legs yet. So we're gonna go hit the testing grounds, aka that street I always go up and down. This thing is just effortlessly pulls. It's insane. I'm like barely on the throttle and it's just pulling hard. I definitely need to get myself a unit like this. Probably build something a little bit bigger, but geez, this is 200 amps battery, 450 phase, and then I'll get on it as soon as I get out of the neighborhoods. Oh my goodness. Gear ratio is 65 rear, 13, 14 front. I don't know the math right now, somewhere around 5-to-1. I'm sure I'll correct myself. Super nice being able to ride around without worrying about anything. I mean, obviously if I get caught doing dumb shit, I'm gonna get busted for it. And it's not my bike, so I ain't trying to do nothing crazy. I hate this part. Motherfuckers always flying through. Cheers! That was a quick 60 right there. I gotta double check, make sure the speedo is accurate. I know it's accurate up to at least 30, but I need to make sure it's not too much difference up top. Whew. I think the last video I had on this, it was only doing 64, I think, 60 something. So let me pull off to the side real quick. I'm gonna pull up the GPS speedo and screen record the graph page, see what else I can get into it. I love how it auto connects now, and it looks like we no longer have to do the binding process, which is great. Everything's saving. I haven't bound to this controller since it's brand new, but so look, what I'm going to be looking for is my RPM. I have it limited to 7,500 RPM. Obviously I don't think this QS90 is going to hit that, but anyways, I want to double check. I want to check my wattage, make sure everything is looking good. Go ahead, start recording, and then I'll pop this up on the screen for you guys. Motor temp staying good. Toss that in my pocket. All right, let's go for a rip. So we'll go from a dig. Get into the light for you guys. I'm kind of scared. Brakes feel good. Nice, dude. This thing absolutely rips. I mean, this thing is really heavy, super stable, steel frame. I mean, there's just so much on it that it feels very planted. It's got big street tires, big heavy street tires. Nice and wide, good contact patch. So this thing rides really good, rides really straight. It's got good brakes. Obviously it's got front brake and 2 rear brakes. 2 calipers in the rear, so it rides really good, stops really well. I mean, this thing gets to 0 to 60 like faster than most regular cars on the street anyways. I would throw down some wheelies and whatnot, but the shock is so bouncy and blown out. Do that 0 to 50 like it's nothing. The shock's so blown out and bouncy, it's scary even going this fast. And then trying to modulate the throttle on the brake, it starts getting really bouncy and sketchy for wheelies, so I might do some slow ones. About 7 volts a sag, 7-8 volts. It's not terrible. I'm freezing my butt off, guys. Holy crap. Should have worn an extra jacket and some gloves. Sorry if the wind noise is crazy as well. But yeah, I'm absolutely pumped on this build right here. It's so sick. Perfect cruiser for around town, just bobbing, enjoying yourself. Especially when it gets nicer out. So maybe steal this thing every once in a while from him. Just do some regular vlogs like this. Cruise around, talk to you guys. Whenever he gets a new rear shock for it, maybe throw down some wheelies on it. This is primarily what it's built for, to be a little stunt bike. It's just really heavy and a lot of power, so it's scary and it's a lot to get used to. Yeah, this thing can take me forever to get used to. I'm so used to small bikes. Alright guys, before I eat up too much battery life on my camera, I'm gonna go ahead and end this off right here. Let me know what you guys think about the build. Like I said, I didn't really post too much about it before, but I'm glad I got to have it back to throw the new controller in, ride it around, show it off to you guys. Like I said, hopefully I'll steal this thing a couple more times, do some more rides, have some fun, practice some wheelies. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Later. Just gotta be smooth as butter with it.